Welcome everybody. Today's webinar is going to be on ECB Tracing Enhancements, and we're going to be working in our release version, which is 1.3.2. And our agenda today is we're going to show how to support the field characters while doing a getCC core block. We're going to look at an X field by right-clicking the address. We're going to show an ECB Heap Tab refactor. We're going to look at getting the heap storage by right-clicking on a register, and we're going to show how to set an overlay panel for a file address. So let me switch. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and connect up to a system now. And I've got preloaded SOs here, and also we've got some preloaded breakpoints that we'll be stopping at to take a look at our data. So I'm going to start by tracing the SO in source view. I'm going to create an ECB with the same name. And I'm going to run down to my first breakpoint here. And let's go ahead and go in and take a look at that ECB. Now here you see we have data levels in blue and red. And what we want to do is we want to select on any of the data levels that are in blue. And we're going to come down to our getCC. And we're going to pick a size. We'll just choose small for the demo here. And what we have is we have two choices of how we want to set this field character. It can either be a hex value or a character value. The default values are 0 for hex and space for character. But let's go ahead and we'll set a hex value first. And we'll go out and take a look at it. And once it's changed, we can double click on it and we can see that our hex value has changed to the correct field character. So let's go release this real quick and let's come back and take a look at the character value just to show. Let's select a character A. Now the hex values can be two characters, 2 spaces. The character value can only be 1. And again, let's take a look and we'll see our field characters are all A's now. Now what we want to do next is come in and show the Xfill core block from a right-click menu option. So since we're already in our ECB tab, let's go over to our level. And we want to come down, we've got an address here at FA6. Now if you click it once, it's going to select part of it. If you click it a second time, it will select the entire thing and bring it up. But what we want to show here is the ability that you can highlight it by left clicking and dragging to select it all, and come down and use a menu option to do the same thing. Now once you're in this menu is an editing menu. So if we chose to edit any of our values here, let me see if I can just get on the one value there. We can see that the edit takes here, our character is changed, and to commit this edit we would just hit an enter key. And at the same token we can come over to our character value and edit there and also hit the enter key to commit. Now the next part is to take a look at the ECB Heap Tab, and to do that we need to get out of this just for a second. I need to run down to my next breakpoint. Let's come back into our ECB. Let's take a look at our Heap Tab. And here you can see we just by running to the next breakpoint, we've created a new active heap. We do have icons over to the left that show a released heap, a new active heap. We also show to the right over here a new pane that we have, which is a detail pane, and it shows the status of the heap and the address and various information for that heap. This pane can be it can be hidden by right-clicking, selecting Hide Details, or it can be shown. In some cases, if your screen's a tad bit wider, you could, and you need to adjust it, it can be adjusted. Also within this screen, we've added the ability to copy the data, both in the property and the value columns. And the way this works is if you want to just click one value, let's say we want the heap address, and we right-click and say copy, what you'll actually get is you'll get both of these fields. So you'll get the heap address and the property field, the value field. They can also be multi-selected. If you decide you want to select everything on this side, on the property side, and right-click and copy, essentially what you will actually be copying is everything from the tag. So you're going to get the property and the values. Now if you just want the values alone and you don't want the property labels with it, you can come over to the right side and just select the property, the value itself. You right-click and copy, and you're just going to get this value. And as such, if you choose to select it all, therefore we'll be able to right-click, copy, and you'll get this list. And they copy to your clipboard. They can be pasted into Word or any of your other documents as plain text. Now the next thing I want to show is how our new screen shows a corrupt heap. And to do that, we want to come up to Trace Options. We're going to come down to Heap Check, and this dialog box pops up with our properties, and we want to select Check Heap when a ECB execution stops. And what they'll do is trap that corrupt heap and display it. So let's go ahead and let's step through a little bit until we come up with a corrupt heap. And here you'll see that the icon to the left has changed with exclamation point red. We do have the heap here in red that's corrupt. Also our status to the side here has changed to corrupt. So it's very obvious that the heap is corrupt, and we do have a message here. So let me run out of this real quick. We're going to come back into it. And we're going to take a look at how we can get a heap. So let's recreate this ECB. And let me just go ahead and run down there for a second, put some data. We're going to reopen our ECB screen. And there's two ways to actually get a heap, create a heap. One is you can select on the register and you can right-click, and this menu option will say Get Heap, and not all the registers are capable of doing this. Registers 0 through 7 and 14 and 15. The other registers, if you select on those, the menu option is not available, and you just can't do it with those registers. So let's select on register 1, and we'll start by creating a heap from register 1. Now the Get Heap dialog box will come up, and as you can see, our address mode for this particular program is 64-bit. You can have a 31-bit program also. If so, it will show here. This is not changeable. It's defaulted to the program. The register here is the register that we selected. This can be changed to other registers. We're going to leave it with register 1. And since we are running a 64-bit program, we have two options for our heap location. We can use the lower, less than 2 gigabyte area, or we can use greater than 2 gigabyte area. We're going to leave that defaulted to 2 gigabyte for the demo. And we have an option of setting the heap size either by a hex value or a decimal value. And let's just go ahead and we'll leave that hex. And we'll set that value, leave it at 1,000. And we'll see our window comes up with just that heap. We can also come over and see that we built a new heap. It's active, and it was created. The next way to show the heap size is to right-click here in the heap list location. And to do that, we'll just right-click, Get Heap. You're going to see the same screen with the same options, except it's not going to be assigned to a register. Same way, we can set it by a decimal value or a hex. And we'll just go ahead and take defaults. Select OK. And here we have another new heap created. Let's go ahead and change that. And now lastly, what I need to show you is how to set the overlay panel for a file address. And to do that, we're going to close out. Just go ahead and run this out. Let's close here. I'm going to go ahead and remove this from Source View Trace, and I'm going to lock in DFSA. I'm going to come create an ECB for DFSA. SR. And that's going to apply a panel to this to make this data more readable. And most of these changes they appear small, but hopefully they will help in the development. And that is the conclusion of my presentation, and we're ready for any questions.
Steve, there's a question from Satish. Steve, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. The question is there a way to find out how much heap and ECB has consumed, and whether it's, the heap is being taken from the 4K or 1K frames?
I'm not exactly sure about that. That might be a question for
right now, there is no way to check that, whether it is allocated from 4K or 1F.
Okay,
thank you for that question.
Okay.
Satish, I believe that answered your question. We have
maybe, yeah, we can come up with a solution for that. It's a good question. Thanks for the question. We'll take this forward and come up with an answer for that in future.
David, you have raised your hand, so I've unmuted you. Can you put your question to the presenter?
Can you hear me over the phone?
Yes.
My question is, why would you create heap space during trace?
I believe that's going to be another question for Karthik.
Maybe if the user wants to pass some value, he can create a heap and he can pass some values and put the value in a register so that he can alter the value and he can do his testing. This is for the user. Maybe did I answer the question?
yes, I have another question too. If heap space gets corrupted while you're tracing, will the ECB automatically pop up, or will you have to actually pull it up to see if it's been displaced? Corrupted, I mean.
We are actually in an ECB trace, so once it is corrupted, the ECB will be popped up, yes.
Yes,
Great,
it
thanks.
automatically pops up.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Thanks. Thanks, Karthik. Russell, you're unmuted. You can ask the question to the presenter and the Karthik over here.
Okay, thank you. I had a follow-up question on the heap corruption. Does the ECB stop immediately after the corruption is detected, or does it run to your next breakpoint, or how does that work?
As soon as the ECB, as soon as the corruption happened, the ECB stopped and popped up for you.
Okay. And then on the ability to allocate a chunk of heap, is there a way to clear that heap when you get it, or do you just have to use a different process to clear it once it's there, once you have the window with the heap core?
That's actually the ECB heap, so I think we don't have to worry about the ECB heap, I guess. Right now, we don't have ability to release the heap, I think. We can get any number of ECB heaps, so that's not a problem.
Oh no, my question was about, in the example that I saw on the screen, it allocated a chunk of heap, but it had garbage data in it. Is there a way to initialize that, or do you have to go through an initialization process after the heap is actually allocated?
Yeah, you can actually change the data, alter the data once allocated. That's not an issue.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Russell. Thanks everyone. We don't see any more questions. Thank you all for joining this session. Have a good day. Thank you.